Whether you have lots of weight to lose or no weight to lose, but you wanted to lose your mom pooch, this is the video for you. Hello, my name is Becky Choi. I am your postpartum corrective exercise specialist. I help mamas to go from looking like this to looking like that, being in the best version. But biggest tip I would give you if you are a mom, postpartum moms, and you have been trying to lose your mom pooch and you have not been successful, maybe you have lost all your baby weight and just that pooch is left in your tummy. Or maybe you still have a lot of weight to lose, but that belly is still bulging a lot. Now, here's the biggest tip for you. It's working on your gut health. Maybe this is your first time hearing gut health, or maybe you have heard of this a few times, but not sure what really is. Let me explain it. But before I just explain about the gut health, now your bloated belly could be very likely be diastasis recti or abdominal separations after baby. It's very common. It happens to 1/3 of a mom who have given birth. And how wide is your gap, how deep the depth is of the diastasis, that will really give you a setup and a starting point on, okay, if you have diastasis, then what is the next step? Because that will definitely contribute to that bloating appearance. Now, aside from that, yes, the diastasis can cause the bloated appearance, but you might not have diastasis and you still have that puffy belly. Why? It's because of your gut health. And you might be wondering what's such a big deal about gut health and how can you help yourself? Gut health essentially, if we're talking one layer of it, one more layer into this is inflammations. Do you notice that nowadays when you eat food, you get more bloated very easily? Maybe perhaps you wake up in the morning, you look a bit better, flatter, you don't look so pregnant, but then as the day goes by, you look more and more pregnant. So that is bloating, that is inflammation sitting in your stomach. Or do you notice maybe certain type of food that you're eating now, it just makes you so bloated and puffy all the time compared to before baby? Now, why is that? It has a lot to do with pregnancy and postpartum due to elevated stress in your body. So you know how before baby, maybe you were trying to conceive and it took a long time to conceive, many months, every month you're checking on the stick to see if there's a double line, and maybe you're timing to have that physical activity with your husband, like you're timing it, and it adds a lot of elevated stress, and maybe you have a miscarriage in between, and just to conceive, to have a baby, you are already in that elevated stress zone. Now the second elevated stress is throughout pregnancy. Throughout pregnancy, you worry about the baby, if she's going to be healthy, if she has a heartbeat, right? The first and second trimester, there's a lot of going on in your body. So you're constantly in that elevated stress where, okay, conceiving was already stressful, and now you're in your pregnancy, it's super stressful. And then also the lack of sleep at nighttime, right? You're not sleeping enough because you constantly have to wake up to go to the bathroom, and you're not sleeping enough maybe because you have some weird rash like I did when I was pregnant. After pregnancy, think about how much you really sleep, right, with your newborn. And even up to toddler years or preschool kids, you might not be sleeping enough because your kid is trying to co-sleep with you, and then the next thing you know is her feet is on your face and his feet is on your tummy. So like you're not sleeping enough throughout this whole entire year and a half to 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how much sleep you get at nighttime. And one last thing I have to point out is the physical stress from your labor, from giving birth. That is a lot of tremendous amount of forces that you need to push that baby out. If you had a vaginal birth, even if you had a C-section, you have to go through that labor, contraction, and like think about how long that it might take you for you to really push that baby out, or like to have the baby out, right? For some moms, I know it's like, maybe for myself, it was fast in terms of like the contraction was like come really, really quickly. But pushing phase, it took me 2.5 hours with my own energy. Like I had no energy to push the baby out, and because I was not at the hospital, and I was lucky that he is here and he's healthy, but like it was all within my own strength to push the baby out, and it was a lot of stress and tear down there on my body. And then also for some moms who might be having 2-3 days of labor, so it's a lot of intense stress in our body, and due to all of these stresses, makes such a big big impact on your gut, and your gut is not the same as before anymore. And that is why taking care of your gut health is super important to that bloated stomach. It's like you cut a fingernails, like you had a cut and it's like puff up and swelling and red, and you're like, oh, it's so uncomfortable here, right? It's same thing in our gut, in our body, in our abdomen. It's like it's constantly telling you, okay, I'm so uncomfortable inside, please help me, please help me. Now the biggest way you can help yourself with the inflammations in your gut is through nutrition. I know in different culture and in different part of the world, they have their own regimens and routine to take care of the mother after giving birth. In Chinese, it's such a big thing. For 30 days, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that, and then you have to eat certain type of food. And those are all good. But if you are really focusing on the inflammations, and I'm not talking about just newly postpartum, even if you're years postpartum, how do you take care of that gut? Is to eat high quality food, organic food, wild caught fishes, non-GMO, non-genetically modified food, that you can actually eat the real food and eat more whole food. There's a saying in the nutrition, if there's a mother or if it comes from the ground, you eat it. So basically any fish, any meats, right, any poultry, if they have a mother, right, mother bird, mother chicken, mother cow, right, mother pig, if they have a mother, you can eat it. Or anything that comes from the ground, right, has rooted, it's in the ground, you can eat them. They are very, very nutritious and they will help you with your inflammation. So specific foods such as mushroom, carrots, squash, anything that is rooted in the ground is very good for you. Any wild caught fish, right, organic chicken, wild grass-fed beef, those are good for you because you're not eating just a farm-raised cow or farm-raised pig or chicken, because they are usually ingested with a lot of antibiotics and other types of hormone. And when you eat those meats into your body, it's only going to contribute into more inflammations in your gut. So that's why the quality of your food is very important. So like olive oil, coconut oils, those are really good. But again, look for non-GMO. Soy, notoriously bad for our gut lining because they are always GMO. They are genetically modified. So look for soy in terms of organic. When you're buying tempeh, tofu, right? If you drink soy milk, you should be looking for food, looking for the label that says non-GMO. Now, a couple more things here, especially if you are vegetarian or vegan and maybe you're eating lots of beans, lentils, or vegetables. Really watch out for how much vegetables that you're eating. But if you're eating the leafy type of vegetables instead of the rooted vegetables, like I was mentioning, mushroom, carrot, squash, and stuff like that, if you're eating leafy vegetables, I would really recommend you to cook them so that it's easier for your body to digest. It's not using so much energy and effort to digest those vegetables down in your body. And sometimes these vegetables, especially the leafy one, they spray with a lot of pesticide. So wash them really well before you eat them. So that's why cooking them could get rid of some of those pesticide, but best is to eat less of them. And so if you eat beans, soak them very well. So soak them for at least overnight. So it's so much easier for your body to digest and not creating more work for your guts to do the work, and it will reduce the bloating in the stomach. Now, here's another thing to pay attention is the intolerance or sensitivity that you have to a certain type of food. You might not have these kind of sensitivity before baby, but again, because of all these stress, lack of sleep, elevated blood sugar from maybe gestational diabetes, it added a lot of stress into your body, changing the way your hormone is. So you might be more sensitive to these type of food, and they are usually like gluten, bread, pasta, or dairy, so milk, cheeses. So if you notice that you're more bloated after eating these food, you're passing more gas, you're burping more, or maybe you can just see that, okay, you're a little bit having discomfort in your abdomen area. So it's likely that you are quite sensitive to these food. You can try to reduce the amount of food that the gluten and the dairy into your daily diet, or you can just try to eliminate them for a whole week and see how you feel. So that's where I would say about inflammations and gut health. So taking care of your gut health will definitely reduce the appearance of your stomach. In addition to it, if you really wanted to get rid of that mom pooch after baby, is to make sure you get enough protein in your meals per day. A lot of us are not eating enough protein, and protein is the building block for our muscles for our body. And if you want to have more strength in your core, if you wanted to flatten the tummy because perhaps you're doing exercises already and you pair it up with the nutrition, it will be so much better for you. And especially with protein, if you can incorporate a portions of protein in every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and perhaps 1 or 2 snacks in your day, depending on how much calories that you need to consume in a day. Maybe you have weight to lose, no weight to lose, right? So I hope this video is helpful for you. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more information on how to get rid of your mom belly after baby, and also talk about a lot on diastasis recti. This is what I specialize in, and I create one-on-one coaching program for postpartum busy moms.